Hello again. We're looking at the next game in the World Championship match. We're now at round 4 between Anand and Carlsen in their World Championship match in Chennai in 2013. Anand is the reigning world champion and Carlsen is the challenger. So let's see. Again, Anand starts with e4, and this time Carlsen does not play the Caro-Kann. I don't know if he will play the Caro-Kann again in the match. Maybe it was a one-time opening he prepared just for one game. Instead, he does his main opening here, and he plays the Berlin defense. And here, in my opinion, Anand makes a mistake. He goes into the Berlin endgame, and I think Carlsen is he's by far the best endgame player ever. There is no question about it. So for Anand to go into the Berlin endgame, that's just bad psychological preparation. Even if Anand had prepared it it would have been better for Anand to play d3 and get a game here, more tactical game, because I basically think there is zero chance that Anand can defeat Carlsen in the Berlin endgame, and they're going for the Berlin endgame right now. As we know, Kasparov tried 10 times to beat Kramnik in this and never got anything, so it's just such a good position for black. It looks good for white. Black can't castle. Black has double pawns here, but experience has shown that black is at least equal here, and also it can be dangerous for white to try to press too hard here. I don't really know the exact theory, but there is lots of movers and intricacies in here, so I'm not even gonna try to explain it. So we can see that this is a threat, so he has to defend the pawn. And here Carlsen does a very interesting thing. Have you seen the game? It was a World Championship match in 1972 between Spassky and Fischer in Iceland. And in the first game of that match, Fischer was playing black and Spassky was playing white. And the game was very drawn. It was a drawn endgame. And at one opportunity, it was exactly like this, I think. And at one place, Fischer just took the pawn here. And Spassky played b3. And the bishop was locked in and Spassky won after that. And it was completely unnecessary because Fischer was at least equal here. So if he just played anything else except taking that pawn, he would have drawn the game. But he took it. Spassky played that and then captured the bishop and won the game relatively easily, if I remember correctly. And then Fischer got mad because he played so stupid and he didn't show up for the next game. So it was 2-0 to Spassky. But after that, Fischer was the better player, so he won the match easily anyway. But it's the same here. Same, bishop takes pawn, and bishop is lost here. So let's see what happens. But maybe it's not completely lost now because of c4 and stuff. So let's see what happens. He has to do that. Take, and of course, bishop e1 is only chance here. So the bishop is actually not lost, it's actually getting out here. But if it would have been lost, it would have been exactly like Fischer did. And we can see already the computer thinks that black is almost winning now because of that. So let's see how Anand managed to save this game, because it's just down a pawn for nothing, and it's sure black's pieces are bad, but they're not so bad. So Okay, so here Magnus makes a big mistakes and give up his advantage. Correctly was this one. Because white threatened, I think it threatened something like that. So here, and then take, maybe. So here is still one pawn up for black. Okay, so let's see why this is so bad. Yeah, it's so bad because now instead of taking back, Anand could have done this. This one is in trouble. If you play c6, then this knight is getting in here, and of course this black's positioning is about to collapse now with f7 is hanging and start to look a little bit bad. So instead of that, maybe knight e5 could be best, and then knight b4. Let's look at this tactics here. Maybe here looks better. Okay, but it's he's almost getting checkmated if he play like that, but he can get out. Okay, so apparently the black king is a little bit in trouble here, and white's pawn is start to matching down, so the computer thinks this is, and this would have been a good thing to Anand, because here he could start to calculate and play exactly, because it would no longer be positional consideration but pure tactics. But instead he took back, which is it was what's called he probably took back without thinking very much, would be my guess. And it looks like the especially now when he moves back this knight, that attack with rook c2 and maybe knight here is gone, so black has gained on this. And it's also typical for black. He never developed these pieces, but he can instead activate the rook by playing a5 and a4. So white prevents that. e6. So the thing about this, it looks like it's an easy game, but it's extremely tactical and complicated. That's why the top players love playing this, especially with black. Okay, so here somewhere it went badly for black. It says that black should have done rook here, but it looks like he's losing an exchange here, but apparently not. Let's see why. Okay, so the reason is now both are threatened, so that doesn't work for white. So Magnus played here and went back because he was afraid of this, but that didn't work tactical. Let's look at that again, maybe here. Yeah, and it's the same tactics. Okay, so because this rook is very good and active, so it was completely unnecessary to put it such a passive position on f8. So let's see here. Magnus gave a check and went back, but yeah, it was would have been better to keep the rook here. Take and now it's just one pawn now for black instead of two, and this pawn is quite dangerous, so white should be able to draw now. Okay, that's interesting. Instead of taking here, he decides to sack a piece. No, it's not a piece sack, because takes, and then he can take the knight, of course. So apparently this is a draw. It looks quite tricky, yeah, but they have this under control. Yeah, and this is now it is a theoretical draw. Like if it's a theoretical draw here. So yeah, it was an interesting game. I think it was a very interesting game. Magnus had good chances, and the most memorable move is of course when he played like Bobby Fischer here and took such a risky pawn here on a2. But it worked out. He was winning after that, but then he didn't find the best move, and Anand managed to get a draw here. So Magnus playing like Fischer, and he would continue to play more like Fischer as the match goes on.